Okay, we're going to continue on in our Father's Word today. This is Exodus chapter 37, verse 21. And a knob under two branches of the same, and a knob under two branches of the same, and a knot under two branches of the same, according to the 6 branches going out of it. Then their knops and their branches were all the same, and all was of one beaten work of pure gold. And he made the 7 lamps, and his snuffers and his snuffer dishes of pure gold. Of a talent of pure gold made he it, and all the vessels thereof. And he made their incense altar of shittim wood, and the length of it was a cubit, the breadth of it was a cubit, it was 4 square, and 2 cubits was the height of it. The horns thereof were of the same, and he overlaid it with pure gold, both the top of it and the sides thereof round about, and the horns of it. Also he made into a crown of gold round about. And he made 2 rings of gold writ under the crown thereof, by the 2 corners of it, upon the 2 sides thereof, to be placed for the staves to bear it withal. And he made the staves of shittim wood, and overlaid them with gold. And he made the holy anointing oil, and the pure incense of sweet spices, according to the work of apothecary. Now this is Exodus chapter 38. And he made the altar of burnt offerings of shittim wood. 5 cubits was the length thereof, and 5 cubits the breadth thereof. It was 4 square, 3 cubits the height thereof. And he made the horns thereof on the 4 corners, and the horns thereof were of the same. And he overlaid it with brass. And he made all the vessels of the altar, the pots, the shovels, the basins, and the flesh hooks, and the fire pans. All the vessels thereof he made of brass. And he made for the altar a brazen gate of network under the compass thereof, beneath into the midst of it. And he cast 4 rings for the 4 ends of the grate of brass, to be placed for the staves. And he made the staves of shittim wood, and overlaid them with brass. And he put the staves into the rings on the sides of the altar, to bear it withal. And he made the altar hollow with the boards. And he made the laver of brass, and the foot of it brass, of the looking glasses of the women assembling, which assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And he made the court. On the south side southward, the hangings of the court were of fine twined linen, 100 cubits. Their pillars were 20, and their brazen sockets 20. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets were of silver. For on the north side the hangings were 100 cubits. Their pillars were 20, and their sockets of brass 20. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver. And for the west side there were hangings of 50 cubits. Their pillars 10, and their sockets 10. The hooks of the pillars and their fillets of silver. And for the east side eastward 50 cubits. The hangings of the one side of the gate were 15 cubits. Their pillars 3, and their sockets 3. And for the other side of the court gate, on this hand and that hand, were hangings of 15 cubits. And their pillars 3, and their sockets 3. All the hangings of the court round about were of fine twined linen. And the sockets of the pillars were of brass. The hooks of the pillars and the fillets of silver. And the overlaying of their chapters of silver. And all the pillars of the court were filleted with silver. And the hangings for the gate of the court was needlework of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twisted linen. And 20 cubits was the length, and the height, and the breadth was 5 cubits, answerable to the hangings of the court. And their pillars were 4, and their sockets of brass 4, their hooks of silver, and their overlayings of their chapiters, and their fillets of silver, and all the pins of the tabernacle, and of the court round about were of brass. This is the sum of the tabernacle, even of the tabernacle of testimony, as it was counted, according to the commandment of Moses, for the sacrifice of the Levites, by the hand of Ithamar, son to Aaron the priest, and Bezaleel the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, made all that the Lord commanded Moses. And with him was Aholabad, son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan, an engraver and a cunning workman, an embroiderer, in blue and in purple and in scarlet and fine linen. And all the gold that was occupied for the work, and all the work of the holy place, even the gold of the offering, was 29 talents and 730 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary. And the silver of them was numbered of the congregation was 100 talents, and 1,715 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary. A bekel for every man, that is half a shekel, after the shekel of the sanctuary for everyone that went on to be numbered, from 20 years old and upward, for 3,550 men. 3,550 men. And of the hundreds of talents of silver were cast the sockets of the sanctuary, and the sockets of the veil. 100 sockets of the 100 talents, a talent for a socket. And of the 1,770 and 75 shekels, he made hooks for the pillars, and overlaid their chapiters, and filleted them. And the brass of the offering was 70 talents, and 2,400 shekel. And therewith he made the sockets to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the brazen altar, and the brazen gate for it, and the vessels of the altar, and the sockets of the court round about, and the sockets of the court gate, and all the pins of the tabernacle, and all the pins of the court round about. Now this is Exodus chapter 39. Of the blue and the purple and the scarlet, they made cloths of service to do service in the holy place, and made the holy garments for Aaron, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he made the ephod of gold and blue and purple and scarlet and fine wine linen. And they did beat the gold into thin plates, and cut it into wires to work it in with the blue, and in the purple, and in the scarlet, and in the fine linen, with cunning work. They made shoulder pieces for it, to couple it together. By the two edges was it coupled together. And the curious girdle of the ephod that was upon it was of the same according to the work thereof, of gold, blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen, as the Lord commanded Moses. They wrought onyx stones, enclosed in ouches of gold, graven as signets are graven, with the names of the children of Israel. And he put them on the shoulders of the ephod, that there should be stones for a memorial to the children of Israel, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he made the breastplate of cunning work, like the work of the ephod, of gold, blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen. And it was 4 square. They made the breastplate